The Galactic Council convened in their grand chamber, an assembly of the oldest and most advanced species in the known universe. For centuries, they had guided lesser civilizations, ensuring harmony across the stars. And now, a troubling anomaly had emerged: humanity. Unlike other races, humans defied categorization. They lacked the natural armor of the Thrixians, the psychic prowess of the Velkarth, or the sheer brute strength of the Zalzoran. Yet they spread rapidly, adapting to extreme environments and forming alliances with terrifying efficiency. The Council's leading minds debated theories. Some saw humans as a harmless curiosity, a primitive race too dependent on cooperation to be a real threat. Others were less certain. The humans had survived interplanetary wars, engineered worlds to their liking, and demonstrated a disturbing resilience. To settle the debate, the Council approved an experiment. They would observe humanity's true nature under controlled conditions, a simulated environment where survival was dictated by raw instinct, not technology or diplomacy. If humans were truly as cooperative as believed, they would integrate peacefully or perish. A vast artificial biosphere was constructed, mimicking hostile planetary conditions. Carefully selected species were placed inside, each representing different evolutionary strengths. The territorial Drakari, the stealthy MYK Tal, the warlike Krovax, all known to dominate in survival-based scenarios. And then, the humans were introduced. The Council watched from their observation chambers, confident in the outcome. The humans were deposited with no weapons, no supplies, nothing but their base instincts. As expected, they reacted with initial confusion, scanning their surroundings, exchanging hushed words. The first few hours were uneventful. The humans didn't scatter in fear, nor did they seek immediate conflict. They simply observed. The Krovax, the simulation's predicted victors, were already establishing dominance, driving weaker species from food sources. The Drakari hoarded resources, securing defensible ground. The Velkarth attempted negotiation, forming fragile alliances. The humans did nothing. Council members murmured in approval. This was the proof they sought. Humans lacked the aggression or adaptability to thrive alone. They would soon be forced to seek shelter under a stronger species or be eliminated entirely. But then, something unexpected happened. The first alien vanished. A MYK Tal scout, known for its near invisibility and unparalleled stealth, simply disappeared. No body. No sign of struggle. Just gone. At first, the Council dismissed it as an unrelated event. The environment was unpredictable, perhaps an accident. But then, another disappeared. Then another. The Council analysts reviewed the data, searching for anomalies. The cause became clear. The humans weren't struggling. They were hunting. The disappearances continued. What began as isolated incidents became a pattern. The humans moved with unsettling precision, leaving no trace of their actions. The Council analysts combed through footage, expecting crude ambushes or desperate acts of survival. Instead, they found something chilling. There were no panic skirmishes, no reckless attacks. The humans were methodical. They didn't just kill. They removed threats. The Krovax warband, once the dominant force in the simulation, fell apart within days. Their warriors turned on one another, paranoia taking hold. One had been found with his throat slit in the night, another vanished while patrolling alone. Soon, their own leaders accused each other of betrayal, fracturing their unity. But the humans hadn't attacked them outright. They had simply planted evidence, misplaced weapons, stolen supplies, subtle deceptions that sowed doubt. The Krovax collapsed from within. Elsewhere, the Drakari hoarders discovered their hidden caches raided, their stockpiled food reduced to nothing. Security measures failed without explanation. It wasn't brute force, it was quiet, invisible. The Drakari turned desperate, abandoning their strongholds in search of sustenance, only to be picked off one by one. The Council's confidence eroded. This wasn't survival by luck. The humans weren't forming alliances, nor were they falling into predictable patterns. They didn't negotiate, they didn't posture. They learned. Every mistake an alien made was exploited the next day. The MYK-Tal, masters of stealth, attempted to strike back. A single team infiltrated the human camp, their approach flawless. Yet, when they arrived, the humans were already waiting. The bodies were found later, stripped of gear, their own tactics used against them. The humans didn't just endure the experiment. They were dominating it. Then, for the first time since the test began, the humans made direct eye contact with the hidden cameras. And they smiled. Panic spread through the observation chamber. The experiment was no longer under control. Every predictive model had failed. The humans weren't just adapting, they were dismantling the simulation piece by piece. An emergency shutdown was ordered. The simulation's automated failsafes should have ended the test immediately. They didn't. Systems were unresponsive. The humans had disabled external control. No one understood how. Council members turned to the scientists. Surely, this was a malfunction. It wasn't. The data told the truth. This was deliberate. The humans had known from the beginning. They had played along, observed their captors just as much as they were being observed. They had let the experiment continue. Not to survive. Not to escape. To learn. The surviving aliens inside the simulation had already submitted. Even species that had never shown deference before were following human orders. There was no coercion, no threats. Just the quiet realization that resistance was futile. The humans had reshaped the environment to their will. A decision was made. If the simulation couldn't be shut down remotely, then direct action was required. A security force was dispatched, real soldiers, heavily armed, sent to extract the remaining subjects and eliminate all threats. The feed flickered as the military entered the simulation. Their weapons, vastly superior to anything inside, should have guaranteed victory. Yet, the humans remained still, watching. The soldiers advanced cautiously, expecting resistance. None came. The humans simply stood, unreadable expressions on their faces. One stepped forward. Calm. Composed. Unarmed. And then he spoke. "You took us to see how we survive." He smiled. "You should have asked how we hunt." Silence filled the observation chamber. The council members leaned forward, waiting for the soldiers to fire. No order came. No one moved. The human stood there, unarmed, yet something in his presence unsettled even the hardened warriors. His expression wasn't hostile. It wasn't pleading. It was the look of a predator that had already won. The ranking officer barked a command. Weapons raised. The human didn't flinch. "We understand you now," he said. "Your strengths. Your weaknesses. How you think." The council monitors showed the other humans emerging from the shadows. Not running. Not hiding. Walking with purpose, as if they had already decided how this would end. The soldiers hesitated. Even with superior firepower, something primal in them screamed that this was wrong. They weren't facing prey. They were standing before something that had seen every move before it was made. The human's voice was calm. Almost amused. "If this had been real, you'd all be dead." The order to fire was never given. The simulation was shut down manually, the remaining aliens extracted. The humans did not resist. They simply let it happen, watching as if filing away one final lesson. The council attempted to suppress the results, but the truth spread. Every species now knew what had been hidden behind humanity's deceptive surface. They weren't fragile. They weren't desperate for alliances. They were waiting. Watching. Learning. And when the time came, they would not be survivors. They would be the last ones standing,